Hello, welcome to Spotlight, pinpointing the art of the island.
Spotlight, brought to you by the Isle of Man Arts Council.
This evening, a local artist unveils her coastal palette. Author Joanne Clague publishes the sixth and final book in her 2 trilogies. Getting the right perspective, art for healing at the Loom Gallery. And frocks on, it's Rocky Horror, to say nothing of a pottery fair. Remember, do get in touch with any creative artistic endeavours you might be involved in planning, hoping to create, or would really like to put in the spotlight. Poetic, theatrical, musical, literary, ceramic, sculpture. I think we've got them all tonight. Well, almost. Get in touch. Howard Kane at manxradio.com, Kane with an E, spotlight at manxradio.com. And lots of you are. There's clearly something in the autumn air, as I have more arty events and happenings to talk about than time to do it this evening, so no time for me to waffle on. Let's get straight into the art and an exhibition at Ballasalla Village Hall, which has been 2 years in the making. Coastal Palette. It's the work of artist Chrissy Moss, who wanted to celebrate her love of the diversity of the island's coastline. Well, I asked her where her artistic career started.
I started from a very early age. I was always painting and drawing wildlife, mainly birds, when I was young. And my father was an artist, so that led me to try and follow a career in art. And I went to college and I did technical illustration, which wasn't quite what I wanted, but they didn't have anything else on offer at the time. So I drew a lot of technical things. The beauty of that was the course was 7 years long, just over 6 years actually, and there I learnt the discipline of perspective, pen and ink, and so very disciplined in the world of doing everything very accurately. So I liked detail. So that's where the love of drawing and painting developed from there, really. Yeah.
And then for your own art, as it were, you mentioned sort of natural world. Is that the sort of inspiration you normally like, things from around you in the natural world?
Absolutely. Which is why the technical illustration, I went to work for Rolls-Royce company in Derby, but it was all engines and exploded views of aeroplanes, etc. And I wanted to do more natural things. So I would always put my hand up if it had to be a hand with a screwdriver or something, so that I was really into doing the natural side. So I eventually went freelance, and that's when I started to develop. So I went freelance doing birds and bird books and more natural subjects.
So it's been work and play for you over the years then, the art?
Yes, to a certain extent. I've got 2 careers that run parallel, and people say, oh, so different. I do sport and fitness, but an art. So those 2 run parallel, but my art has always been there, probably for the longest time. Yes, it's always been the art that's been my passion.
And what about media? What sort of media do you go for? Do you use various mixed media, or do you like to sort of favour one particular type?
No, I would favour. I started with pencil and pen and ink. But no, I don't know. To be honest, everything has come into play. But more recently, I've gone to acrylic. I've done gouache. I've done watercolour. I think you just go through phases. As an artist, you go through maybe phases where you actually start to try something different. So I've done, those are the main ones that I've done. Pen and ink, pencil, gouache, watercolour, and now acrylic, mainly acrylic. Yeah. And
you're mentioning working for Rolls-Royce doing the technical drawings, but I noticed in your notes as well that also from an artistic point of view, you've had work displayed down at the RHS in Chelsea.
Yes, that was, because I was a botanical artist for a while, lecturer. So I was more into detail there, very much so with botanical art. And I taught that for a while for the WEA. And so therefore, working for Sheffield University for a little while, I developed the interest in fungi and plants, and then we did a book. So I painted some illustrations, some paintings of flowers in a book with a load of other colleagues that we were had that published, and then we were asked to produce something for the Chelsea show, and that was fungi that I did there, and I got a silver award, I think.
Beautiful. And these, as you say, are these sort of like botanic illustrations, so really detailed and
very
lifelike.
Detailed, yes, very detailed. That was the way that went. Of late, probably I've gone a bit looser, maybe with landscapes that I'm doing now. So yeah, always changing, always something to do, always a challenge, always doing something.
Well, that's the joy of art, isn't it? So,
Yes.
so bring us up to date. As you say, up now we're looking at this latest exhibition, Coastal Palette. So is this what it says on the tin, really? So this is your impressions of the beautiful coastline around the island?
Yes, I've not quite counted up, but there'll be over 30 paintings. There will be some birds, because I've always, in the past, it's mainly been wildlife birds with backgrounds of the landscape here. But these are more the landscape, yeah. So these larger canvases, acrylic, so a little bit different than I've done in the past, yeah. So. And
you're saying, are these sort of more impressionistic, or are they more realistic from your sort of your background, or somewhere between the two?
Probably leaning still towards the realistic. Yes, you'll have to come and see.
Well, yeah.
And make your mind up for yourself.
That's the way to do it, isn't it? So there is going to be an exhibition. It's down in Ballasalla. So just tell us a bit more about dates and times if people want to go along.
Okay. So it's open to the general public on the Saturday and the Sunday. That's the 8th and 9th of November. And that's from 10 till 6. There's a private preview on the Friday evening. So that's by invitation only. And
are all the works for sale? None of the works? Some of them?
All will be for sale. Yes, all. I have not got any ones that are kind of NFS. Not for sale. They're all for sale. They'll all be for sale.
And have you got any? I mean, obviously, you must have spent a fair amount of time compiling the artwork, so I've seen quite a bit of the island's coastline and been around the island, I assume. So do you have any areas which particularly speak to you when you've been out painting?
Yeah, good question. They are mainly south in the island, because I live in Castletown, so they are very predominantly down there. The reason being, it's more accessible, but I'm more familiar with it. And I think when you become more familiar with the landscape, so I can take photographs for reference. I can sit and sketch, not as much as, reference photographs. And then that way I feel I know it. I'll go for walks. So I've seen it. I know I'm more aware. It's not that I won't do any other part of the island. There's a lot to do. There's a lot more to do, a lot more I want to do. But they are predominantly south, yes.
The pictures do look stunning. At a sneak preview, get yourself down south and support her work and brighten your day with some wonderful art. Of course, we all know how art can affect us in a myriad of ways, but another exhibition currently running at the ever-wonderful Loom Gallery in Laxey highlights how art can actually help those who may be struggling with stress in their lives after traumatic experiences in the armed forces, say, or emergency services. Called Perspectives, it's a joint venture. I dropped down for a quick tour, and curator at the Loom Gallery, Julia Aspey-Smythe, explained a little bit more about the concept.
This exhibition, Perspectives, is in conjunction with Rock to Recovery and Gary Bennett. And Heather came to me from Rock to Recovery about a year ago, 18 months, and said, I've got an idea. And that's where this came from. The importance of art and how it can help people who are dealing with stress and challenging times, how art can act as a vehicle when you can't find the words. You can use art to express just what you're going through. And the art here is created by people who use the services from Rock to Recovery, and Gary Bennett has kindly brought in and displayed his artwork from the likes of the atomic bomb and some of his work from when he was a veteran. When he was in the military.
Yeah.
And so utilising his artwork to show how a different perspective on the same piece of artwork just completely changes your view of it and gives you a new understanding. So it's a very different exhibition from what we normally do. But I've heard people coming out going, wow, that's really moved me. Or I just never knew about that. So it's certainly given a lot to think about and is a wonderful exhibition. So I would hope that everybody would come down and have a look at it, and you can come in and draw yourself a tree or put some nice seeds of thought and positivity for us to plant afterwards.
So there is interactivity.
Yes, you can have a bit of fun in amongst what is really incredibly moving. There are 2 interactive areas that you can be part of.
You had the original idea then, Heather, so that was basically to put in this sort of, as you say, this exhibition, which is clearly a beautiful art exhibition in itself, but with these hidden meanings and the interactivity which Julia was mentioning.
Yes, indeed. We've got lots of clients who have various different ways of how they help them get through what they're experiencing. And in particular, one client used art to help him through lots of difficult times. And he was very keen on being able to exhibit his work to help other people.
And tell us a bit about Rock to Recovery then, the sort of the background of that and who you are, what it is, and as you say, the clients you work with.
So Rock to Recovery has been running for 10 years now. It's been on the island since 2018. And it's dedicated to saving and transforming the lives of individuals in the armed forces, veterans, their immediate family members and 999 services who are facing difficult challenges. We aim to provide life-changing coaching and support, helping people regain control, find purpose and build a more positive future. We believe no one should struggle alone and are committed to reaching out and offering the guidance needed. And part of this exhibition is enabling people to find out what their rock is, the thing that might help them. And it doesn't have to be sport, it doesn't have to be running or climbing mountains, it can be anything.
It can be art, it can be music, it can be different things to different people.
Absolutely. Whatever your rock is, that will help you on your journey to recovery.
And what did your link in with Rock to Recovery come about? Were you there from the beginning?
No, we didn't join in until 2018. My husband served with one of the founders and he came over and visited and we just got involved from there.
And it is just so important because, again, as you're saying, a lot of these people will have seen things that a lot of us wouldn't like to see. And it is things like art where you can actually either, it's a form of escapism, sometimes a form of release, and then again, this great form of recovery, as you're saying, in so many different ways. And I suppose you're standing just in front of the tree here we're looking at, which is this wonderful tree board. And Gary Bennett's with us here as well. And again, a tree background set out, and this is part of the interactivity you were talking about, where people can come along, and it says this is a tree, it represents stability and growth and resilience and the sense of being grounded. We can all agree it's a tree, but what do you think of it? What does the tree mean for you? And then you're invited, there are pencils and crayons and stick-ups there, and you can do your own what it means to you and stick it onto the tree, leaf-like, as it is littered with these beautiful drawings all around. And you only have to look at them to see it's all different things to different people.
Absolutely, and one of the things we really work on is if you change the way you see things, the things you will see will change. We all know what a tree is, but everyone's personal idea of what a tree is different. And that's the same for the people that we work with. The things that they experience is different, and it's seeing it from different perspectives, different angles, that will enable people to move forward and become unstuck.
And Gary Bennett is sitting here now, just in front of the tree as well. It is, we were just saying, Gary, it is this incredible idea, and you're looking at here, how when you take a different viewpoint on something, how it can just change your whole perspective, not just on the object, but maybe a whole perspective on life.
Yes, I think a lot of perspective comes from personal experiences, and that's what I try and concentrate on my work, my life experience. And I was really pleased whenever Heather and Julia came and asked me to join them to support the exhibition. I had previously I had supported other military charities across, but it was good to do one locally and see, like in this board, local people coming in and doing their version of a tree. It's really interesting to see all their different perspectives.
It is, and again, there's a very clear-cut one. We believe it's done by our own governor. It's a cracking several lines, and it just instantly, you can tell that it's a palm tree, beautifully done. There's some others which are far more. There's one here just on the down the bottom here, which is beautifully done in a very artistic way, and it's full green. Other people have gone for the bare trees, and we were just chatting before, looking at this rather interesting one on the right, where someone's done an excellent idea of basically themselves sitting, thinking about what the tree means for them with the tree in front.
Yeah, that particular one there was done by Andrew. He's my son-in-law. He's a cartoonist. He does cartoon comics, and he's very well trained in doing that kind of work, and you can spot straight away, that's from his perspective. My one is the tree sort of bent in the wind. It's like you would see up in the mountains there.
Yeah, another one's.
Something like, bent by the wind a bit, but still here. And some of the other ones are done by my granddaughter. The little fun doll type that looks like trees. It's really good to see the perspective from all ages of people.
Totally. You were just saying bent by the wind a bit. You yourself coming from the forces background when we're talking about this?
My a lot of my work in the early days was produced by my experiences in the military, and then when military charities saw my work, they would often come to perhaps ask for my perspective on their own personal experiences, so I could produce artwork based on that. For instance, I've worked for combat stress and the nuclear test veterans in the UK. But it also gives you plenty of opportunities to exhibit in UK galleries up and down Scotland, UK, London.
I think your work's been in the House of Commons as well.
Yeah, it's been shown in the buildings there where people from the MPs and that could have private viewings. It's had private viewings in the party conferences in Brighton, and that was part of the nuclear test veterans having their work or my work based on their experiences sort of highlighted, and that was quite successful for them. So then that put me in the spotlight of other charities. I know Rock to Recovery does military, but they also do, the civilians aspect of the recovery. I'm always happy to support military charities and other things like that.
It really is a wonderful exhibition. With that interactivity which was mentioned as well, you can draw a tree or the seeds that Julia mentioned, I think. It runs through until the 15th of November, works on so many levels, it's well worth a sight. The gallery open, of course, Tuesday to Saturday, 10 a.m. to 5 p.m.
Spotlight, brought to you by the Isle of Man Arts Council.
Now, author Joanne Clague, no stranger to this show. We interviewed her when she published her first book around 4 years ago, I think it was. She's now just about to publish her 6th book. Incredible. Which is the last in what have been 2 trilogies which have featured a number of constant characters. This latest book, published by Canello, is called The Rebel Daughter. And when Joanne called by, I wanted to know if the roots of this latest one could be traced back to the beginning of her series and first book.
I start in 1864, and the book that's about to come out is set in 1888. So what I've been able to do, which has been so gratifying actually for me, is follow the lives of the characters that appeared in the first series, even in the first book, and see where they are now as book 6 comes out. So Silas is in there. He's the one of the main characters in the Ragged Valley in the very first book. As a young lad, he's 18 in the first book. He's in his, 40s or 50s. And a child is born in book 2, the girl at Change Alley, and she's actually the main character in book 6. So that for me has been so lovely to be able to do that, yeah.
Do you keep a directory of all the characters and sort of, so you know what they're... Because sure as eggs are eggs, if you get their age or something wrong in one of the books, someone's going to write in and say, you said that he's going to be at least 60 now.
I know. It's a funny thing, yeah. I do keep a basic... the very basic characterisation for each character, and that's talking about things like eye colour and height and, when they were born, that sort of detail, so that... I can kind of keep an eye on them as they age actually through the books, but generally I know who they are. They're like friends, so I don't need to keep a note necessarily of what their personalities are like, because it would be, you wouldn't do that with your real life friendships, would you? You wouldn't jot down, so and so can get a bit stroppy at times, because it's there in you and you know them so well. Certainly by the second series and certainly by book 6.
So here we are now then, book 6, as you say, the last in 2 trilogies, The Rebel Daughter, Alice Lee. Can you give us without any plot spoilers obviously, can you give us a sort of précis of this one?
Yes, so this is very much about a young woman who is actually a helper at the House of Help for Friendless Girls. She acts as an agent, and so at the real institution, they employed volunteer agents who would go to the courts, or even maybe perhaps come across a homeless girl on the streets, for example, and they would take them to the House of Help and see if there was a bed for them or any aid, perhaps there was a refuge they could forward them on to from the House of Help. So that's Alice's job. She's very young and idealistic, and she is interested in women's rights at a time when it was just really before the real kind of resurgence of women's rights with the Pankhursts and so on. She's a little bit earlier than that, but then also she's a little bit later than the stuff that was happening around women's rights in the 1840s. Sheffield had the first female political association in, I think, 1854, but it kind of died away again. So she's in that lull period. So, and feeling quite frustrated by that. She's all for women's rights. She wants women to be treated as equals, to earn the same as men. All the arguments that actually are still raging on today in many ways. So this is her story.
And is that sort of a new theme as far as the narrative is concerned, taking into women's rights and such like?
It is throughout throughout the 6 books. This is I touch on it in a less political way earlier on, because all of the books really are about women trying to live in that mid to late Victorian period, when it was very and particularly working class women, it was very, very difficult. But it was difficult for women from all walks of life. But I suppose this one, through Alice, or because of Alice and the way she is, it's perhaps a little bit more political,
And then was there a natural ending for the whole saga?
Yes. Again, this was something that I personally found very satisfying. Was I wanted to give a character that's appeared in, I think, all of the books to date, or most of them. I wanted to kind of give her the last word, and I talked to my editor about it actually, and she loved it. So and it felt to me that it rounded off the 2 series. So I'm hoping that the readers who have followed all of these different characters through the books will feel as satisfied as I do about that. Yeah.
You're going to miss them all?
I am. I mean, I always want to say here, never say never, because, I might come back to them in a few years' time, by which I mean maybe, like the turn of the 20th century, and see where they all are and what they're all up to. And this last book was actually very difficult for me to finish, because I knew that I was rounding off, all of these different stories, and it was actually quite hard for me to do to actually to get to the end.
It is out on the 6th of November.
That's right.
Book launch or any signings?
Oh, actually, yes. If I could give a mention. So the people at the Bridge Bookshop, Angela and Harry Pickard, they're hosting me again for a signing. They've been so supportive. They've really been lovely. And so that's on Saturday, the 8th of November at 11 o'clock. I'll be up at the Bridge, the Ramsey branch, signing books there. So I'm really looking forward to that, because again, like our interviews, it's become a bit of a tradition on publication. Yeah.
Get yourself a signed copy this very weekend. Why wait for Christmas? It's something of a packed weekend, by the way. There's the 2 one-act war plays and music at Ballacameen Theatre, raising money for the Royal British Legion. We featured here on Spotlight a week or 2 back. The premiere of David Cowell's work As Seasons Turn for choir and string quartet at the Loch Promenade Church this Saturday. Absolutely free. Get yourself down there. Words by you-know-who. And then what's this? More events on the prom.
Hi, it's Linda Quirk here. On behalf of the Manx Potters, I'd like to invite you to our 7th annual Manx Potters Fair at the wonderful Villa Marina Arcade this very Saturday, starting at 11 through to 3 p.m. This fair was created by potters for potters of the Isle of Man to encourage all to show off their wares, no matter where they are on their ceramic journey. This year we have 21 amazing artists, some familiar faces such as Helen Almond, Faye Christian, Catherine Kane and Colleen Corlett, along with some rising stars and new names to our annual Potters Fair. Admission is free, refreshments available for donations to Breast Cancer Now volunteering in the Isle of Man charity, whose volunteers will keep you refreshed. Come along and have a cuppa, chat to the potters and purchase some unique handmade items for gifts, or treat yourself. Remember, it's this Saturday, 8th of November, between 11 and 3 p.m. at the Villa Marina Arcade, Douglas. See you there.
Last, but by no means least, in this packed show, it's just a step to the left, in more ways than one. The Rocky Horror Show, raising its wonderfully colourful, chaotic and camp head at Mad Jack's this weekend. Film, music, drag, colour, fun. Ashton Gibson and Owen Atkinson, a.k.a. Nona Binary and Fenella Beach. Tell me more.
This is a completely brand new event for us. We are so lucky to be partnered with the Isle of Man Arts Council for the extraordinary events. And yeah, we are really, really looking forward to bringing Rocky Horror to the Isle of Man for what I believe to be the first time for a full shadow cast.
Yeah, I was thinking whether it's been done before with a full cast like this, but this will be a premiere, as they say, of this style of performance.
Yes, that's right. So the format is basically, if you're unfamiliar, you're watching the film, and then we have all of us acting out the film in front of the screen as well. So you get kind of a mashup between a cinematic and a theatrical experience.
Where's it going to be taking place?
So we're holding it at Mad Jack's on the Quay, a great venue. We've worked with them before, done shows there before, and it's the perfect vibe, we think.
Definitely. It's dark and dingy and sexy, so it's the perfect place to bring the Rocky Horror Mansion to life, I think, on the island.
Absolutely.
And so the format, you sort of gave a vague idea of the format there. So again, if people were thinking, exactly how's it going to work then, what happens then they pitch up, so it's the film, and then just talk us through the sort of the evening, how it will work.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be sort of very theatre-style seating. So imagine going to see a play, but it's going to be a bit more sexy cabaret vibes. So it's going to be more interactive as well. So all the great things about a play and all the great things about a cabaret mixed together to create this show.
Yes, so we'll be watching sections of the film, all the musical numbers and everything like that, and we have it cast like a play, so every role is somebody. We've got, we're obviously in it, and we've got a great local group of talent of drag queens and other theatrical people on the island, forming this cast. So
terrific.
I'm playing Riff Raff.
Right.
And I'm playing Dr. Frankenfurter.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
Of course. Yeah, I can see that. And you mentioned some other queens. Any other names we can say?
Yes, so we've got Mathia is playing Magenta, who's my so we're a fun little duo. And then there's also Rachel, aka Miss Dee, a burlesque performer, is our Janet, which we're very excited about.
Our cast features an incredible lineup of local talent, including Nona Binary, Fenella Beach, Jay Watkins O'Connell, Mathia Lace, Bliss Westwood, Rachel Crellin, Ben Tarpey, Sadie Lightfoot, and Harley Pierce. They are all incredibly fierce and passionate about the source material and about putting on this cabaret, and we are so grateful to have everybody with us for it.
Been a lot of rehearsals, or is it more spontaneous?
Oh, definitely a lot of rehearsals, yes. It's probably the most rehearsal-intense, heavy drag show that we've done over here, I would say, just because, there's so many moving parts. You're doing choreography, and we're inspired by the film as well, so we're kind of carrying over some of the choreography from the film, but making it bigger, making it our own, kind of moving between scenes. We've got props, we've got different costumes. It's very high level in that way, for sure.
And what about the people coming in, the audience coming in? Are they encouraged to dress up as well?
Absolutely. That's one of the most joyous parts of Rocky Horror and of going to these shadow casts, is that even if you are an audience member, you will leave feeling like a cast member, because you'll be dressed up with us, you'll be singing along with us, you'll be shouting at us and with us, and you'll be throwing things. It's just so interactive, and it has been for 50 years, and yes. I feel so lucky to bring that tradition to the Isle of Man. of like, you know, back in the day of the midnight showings, and it was all so chaotic and queer and free, and I think that that's what we want to bring.
Absolutely, yeah, but not at midnight, just to be aware, so you can,
just the vibes.
Yeah. We'll actually be finished by midnight, just in case you want to go home to bed.
So you better give us again, we know the place there, just give us the times in and how people can actually get tickets if we want to go along.
We are doing Rocky Horror on Saturday the 8th and Sunday the 9th of November. The Saturday seats are unfortunately sold out.
Oh, excellent.
Woo! But if you would like to come join us on Sunday the 9th, that would be so wonderful. The show starts at 8 o'clock.
It's over 18s, of course, for all sorts of reasons. Not least, it's a licensed premises. Otherwise, colour, camp, fun, get yourself down there. That's about it. We'll be back next week when we'll be hearing about the production of Ibsen's Doll's House at Ballacameen Studio Theatre. See you then. In the meantime, be good, stay dry, whatever you're doing. Be creative about it.